Sorry, Peter Patmore is going to be our first speaker. After studying at the University of Tasmania with Shannon, he went on to study at Cambridge and later attained a PhD in political science in 2000. He is a barrister and solicitor and was an MP for 18 years, serving as Deputy Premier and Attorney General. He currently lectures at the Law Faculty at the University of Tasmania and from 2002 has been an Australian delegate to the United Nations Commission for Narcotic Drugs.
I was a bit worried about my thoughts. What were they going to be after all? Let's have a look at this. It covers a lot of territory. Physical and cultural, Tasmania, Aboriginal survival, cultural attitudes, Tasmania, Christianity, unions, labour, asking who we are, the Tasmanian spirit, and of course, surfing. So, you can understand my concern. It puts you in the possible position of seeing a mate's ugly newborn child and having to say how lovely and little she is. This wasn't the case. It was not the case. So, how do I describe the book for those who haven't read it? Why is it relevant? I think it's published at an opportune time. And I thought about it today when I read The Australian, something I hate to do, but I like to be irritated. So I read The Australian. And on page 3, there's an article, and it's entitled, Today's Australia, Modern Rat Race is Making Us Unhinged. I'll just read a section because it's Shannon's book. It says here, the big questions don't come more perplexing than this. Has the human race inadvertently fashioned a style of living that is completely misaligned with our mental and physical wiring? Has the drug of economic growth put us on a rat wheel of false expectations and conjured a materialistic beast that must be fed at the expense of a community and the social life at the heart of our fundamental well-being? That was the Australian today. I read it and I thought, yep, yes, that's pretty well what this book's about. So, I think this book deals with this conundrum. I don't know whether he meant to, but I think it does. So I rang Shannon this morning and I said, mate, why did you write the book? What's it about? And he said, oh, he's a bit taken aback by that. He avoided the question and spoke about his belief in Judeo-Christian values and how non-conformists have contributed to what is essentially an egalitarian society in Tasmania. I think I asked him an unfair question. I think he just needs and has shared his beliefs and his views with us. I reckon that's brave and I reckon that's worthy. I describe it in other ways. The English mystic, romantic poet William Blake writes in his poem Auguries of Innocence, he's got a quatrain. It says, to see the world in a grain of sand and a heaven in a wildflower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour. To Blake, it speaks of how the beauty of nature and the universe is often in the small, everyday details. And this is what I found in Shannon's book. It isn't just religious or political views. So I said, mate, you've written a love story. Not Mills and Boon, but you've written a love story. It's a love story about Tasmania. Its environment, its people, its beauty, its history. Now, its first section describes the uniqueness of Tasmania's environment, its geological, its biological wonder. Blake's grain of sand becomes Tasmania, a microcosm of the world and the beauty and the danger that it faces. And it's also about love. Love of the environment, the need to nurture and protect what we have. And one of his quotes here is, he says, environmental sustainability understood is love bequeathed to future generations. So Shannon reminds us of the legacy we have. A war on the original inhabitants of Tasmania, the important role of non-conformists in shaping our community, the role to fight religious fundamentalism, the loss of moral authority of the church, and how by default educators have now had to step into that role. And of course, it concludes with surfing. Of course. Have we ever surfed or done anything? It's pretty well the last chapter. And there's a little bit in it that I thought sums up what it's about. And this is the last section on have we ever really surfed or done anything? Here's what Shannon says. From the thrill of riding that first wave and the feeling of speed and elation that it gave, to the first bouncy bottom turns and bangs off the top on onshore slide, to those trips at night in the back of the paddle van falling through space to explore those distant wilderness beaches, to all those fantasy movies that ran in our head of what we would like to do on a wave, to the first landed, weightless re-entry over the white water, to that tube where time stood still, to a wave count of thousands over the years, so that journey into our own nature as a person on the weekend surf begins. In the soul surfing culture we've inherited, there is a link between the act of riding a wave to a deep, wholesome appreciation of life, nature, and personal sporting effort. And he finishes up with this last sentence. Perhaps one of the clearest indicators as to whether someone has ever really surfed can be found in the revelation of human equality when you hear there, your wave. And that sums up this book. The depth, the seeking of equality, the seeking to understand where we are. And of course, it's all supported by these magnificent photographs. They show to me an equal love of nature and our society. Look, just to put two, I don't want to name two, but Kip Nunn and Gary Chew to name a few. In fact, when I see who assisted in this book, I see a collaboration of old friends that have gone through decades. So in summary, I reckon the book speaks for itself. It gives a privileged window into someone's views. It doesn't preach, it doesn't order, it mirrors Shannon. Gentle but insistent voice. It invites contemplation as to the absolute privilege of living in Tasmania. I call it the cosmic lottery. I mean, why other reason are we here and not in some other awful part of the world? It's a book that rewards returning to. I think many of the chapters stand on their own. It gives you a chance to think, it gives you a chance to meditate. Let's face it, who else but Shannon is going to stick meditations at the end of each chapter? And they're worth thinking about, they're worth considering. So, thanks Shannon. Thanks for taking the time to achieve what many of us want to do but don't. To do something worthwhile, to have courage of your convictions, and write a book and have it published. Thanks Shannon.